Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Derek Eklum over here at Foundation Software, and I'd like to welcome everybody to today's client sales webinar, which is a series that we do throughout the year. We like to showcase some additional products, some additional services, and today is one that's maybe a little bit unique than ones we've done in the past. This was one we kind of put together here this month and sent out some invitations, and if you can kind of see my screen here, we're going to be talking about Foundation's HQ Suite. Which is our new web-based project management platform. And I believe all of you that are attending, or even just signed up and maybe watching this after the fact, received the notification because you've had our existing project management module. And there's certainly nothing wrong with the project management module. It's just been around for quite a while, and it might have seen its better days, I guess, from a technology standpoint. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of jump into the HQ Suite, kind of showcase that for you, talk about a few other topics, and we'll wrap it up with just any questions you guys might have. And I'll say this a couple times, throughout the webinar here. But if you have follow-up questions, or if you want to set up a time to kind of touch base and go through some different scenarios there at your company, completely normal. So that is a normal thing. So this is more just kind of designed to open your eyes, kind of showcase what we have to offer here with our HQ Suite. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and kind of pull up the main home screen. So yeah, our HQ Suite is our new web-based project management platform. Now I say new, some of you guys might have heard about this somewhat in the past. It's been out for about 2 years. I know we didn't do a whole lot of marketing early on, but this is something here that in-house we've been working on for, believe it or not, about 6 years. It's been a large project here for us, and we've known for quite some time that we needed to have an answer or an upgrade to our project management module. Again, nothing really wrong with it. It's just seen better days, and a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from the last, probably 5 years is that, hey, when are you guys going to roll out something that's web-based that my project managers can use out in the field, that's easier to use than something that's in Foundation, and this is exactly what that is. That checks all of those boxes. So the HQ Suite is web-based. It can be used on tablets. It could even be used on smartphones. So it's fully operational on the go, yet at the same time it communicates back to Foundation. So it keeps people on the accounting and operations team in lockstep. That's kind of the main idea with this. So a lot of the features that you're going to see here that I'm about to walk through, we have some features in Foundation, whether it's the project management module, whether it's the scheduling module, whether it's the job cost module. But again, they're all part of your Foundation database. So it's, whether it's accounting not wanting project management in Foundation in the accounting system, or simply the project managers aren't in front of a computer or in the office enough to make that worthwhile, this is maybe an alternative to that, where it is web-based, where they can use it on the go. So with that being said, I'll kind of go through a lot of the main features. And for those of you, again, that you're probably here because you've gotten some advertisements, some emails that we've sent out. We are running a special on the HQ Suite now through the end of the year. And again, this is something that after this webinar, if you did want to reach out to me directly on questions or to set up a time to touch base, I'm definitely more than happy to do so. But our HQ Suite, the homepage we're on right here. So this is what a typical view is going to look like. This is more of an overview, and this will show projects, my most recent jobs, my most recent projects. Next to that would be my most recent documents. I can always toggle between overdue, upcoming as well. And then in the middle is a schedule, because there's a way to create schedules and dispatch employees as far as where they're going and what they're doing. I'll show you that too. That part of the platform is called Crew HQ. And then down here at the bottom, action items that you've assigned out to your team, or if you want to kind of keep tabs on what you've got going on, you can do that as well. And then bottom corner, just informational. That's just weather right there. Now on the left-hand side, if you look way over there, that's the toolbar. So there's the toolbar here in our HQ Suite. For whatever reason, maybe it's kind of a new thing from a software standpoint, but it's all on the left-hand side. I am seeing more toolbars on the left-hand side, so I think that kind of is a thing. So we've got projects, which I'm going to circle back around to. That's really the main part of the platform. Schedule, that's the Crew HQ. I'll get into that too. And then some of these other ones here, I guess you can call them maybe more minor, but let me just kind of touch base on these just so you know what these are all about. Contacts, these are simply all the different people that you're dealing with on your projects. Whether it's an RFI, a submittal, a change order, a purchase order, these are all people that you're corresponding with back and forth. And I mentioned this also, but I'll kind of mention it again, but HQ and Foundation are tied together. So these contacts would be pulled from your Foundation database, and these would be vendors, customers, and employees. Other areas that we'll pull in here into HQ are jobs, along with their budget information, equipment items, and inventory items. So a lot of the main maintenance items will pull in to HQ from Foundation. And it's not like it's a press one button and it's a big data dump. You do have the ability to pick and choose what records do pull over. So if there's certain things that should never come into HQ, you can always limit that as well. But just a long list of all the different people that you're dealing with. And then underneath that would be reports. Now reports, these are not job cost reports. These are more just lists and logs that you can run. I can kind of go down. We've got everything from submittal to schedule to RFI, RFC, punch lists, AIAs, daily logs. These are all, I guess this is maybe a little bit of foreshadowing too. This is what we're going to be talking a little bit more about up in the project section. But these are all just different lists and logs that you can run here out of the platform. And then lastly, before we get into the main part here of our discussion, is setup. So this is primarily where you get into customization of all of your different templates and forms. And there's a lot that you can do here. Again, this is similar to Foundation, but newer technology, easier to use, more intuitive, all those types of things. So from a document standpoint, creating different templates, the whole idea is you're going to be able to create what fields are available. So what fields are active, what fields are required in order to save a document, so you have full control there. Sure, you can always create custom fields, and then it becomes more of, okay, what does my actual template look like once you get your fields straightened out, which you can always edit one of the existing formats that we give you, or if you wanted to pull in via Word or PDF into here and then just merge in where your fields need to go, you can do that too. So easy way, much easier than what you'd find in Foundation, as far as creating different documents and templates. But setup, that's mainly here. I guess the other big item that you can do here is create users and security, set their security permissions. So some of the other areas, again, before we kind of get into the main part. So heading up to that main part of the platform here underneath projects. So this would be a list of all of your active jobs. You can kind of see at the top here, I can always toggle between inactive versus active. I can do a keyword search, and these are some common filters that you're going to see at the top of really every screen here in HQ. So a way to do a keyword search, a way to filter out, a way to run a list right from here. But the main thing that you're going to be doing here is looking at a list of your existing projects, and then jumping into said project, and that's going to take you to more of an overview page now just for this job. You can always change jobs easily right on the fly here too. But on the overview page here, there's a way to fill out daily log information, which the daily log, a nice feature here is the daily log here in HQ integrates with our mobile application. So if you're using our mobile application to collect time and other information, that'll push information here into the daily log. Thought process here on our side is, hey, if you've got people using the mobile app to enter time, why not make it available here for a project manager to kind of oversee where things are at for that day. So daily logs. In the middle would be more of an overview for the schedule. And then there's a place that would pull in most recent email. Of course, the heart of this program is being able to create documents, email them out, track correspondence back and forth, and then in certain instances, push information from here back into Foundation. But yeah, email, certainly a big part of this, and this would connect into your Outlook account or other email formats if you're using it, or if for some reason you didn't want to use your actual email account, there is a way where you can link into a ProjectHQ email, where essentially it would be at a basic level, I guess to kind of explain, it would be like Derek@ProjectHQ.com. It would create your own proprietary email that you're going to just use here in HQ. And then there's documents. These other items here are just like what we saw on that initial screen. Some more documents, any action items, weather conditions. That would be weather conditions based on the jobs location. And then if we look over to the left, we've got that toolbar over here again, just kind of moving down through here. So we're on the overview dashboard, which any of these sections I can flag as a star and kind of jump them up to a favorite. It's kind of a neat little feature there. But there's details. So this would be the same type of information that you would use to set up the job in Foundation. Actually, this does pull over from Foundation. If you look way over to the right, there's a little Foundation logo. That just lets you know that, hey, this job is not only here in HQ, it's also over in Foundation, which is normally going to be the case, unless you might have a job that you're just tracking that's maybe in the bid phase and you didn't want to set it up in Foundation yet for whatever reason. But job details, and then we get down to resources, and the first area on resources, it says schedule right there. So this is the Crew HQ part of the platform. This is designed to be able to manage project schedules, create tasks, assign resources, notify employees as far as where they're going via email or text. So here by default, it pulls up the project view. I can always flip this if I wanted to see by employee, if I wanted to run this by equipment, I guess other contacts, like for maybe subcontractors, could be customers too, I suppose. But the idea is you have your list of projects, you have your tasks here, which I can kind of hover over, kind of shows you the details. And some of the features up top here, let me kind of point these out. There's a filter, so maybe you want to filter out certain projects or tasks. Next to that is a map feature. This is kind of cool. This will allow you to pull up and it'll color code with the tasks, kind of show you where those tasks are. And then if you wanted to zoom in or out, you can always do so. Or maybe you wanted to see location-wise, if you wanted to pull one team member off of one project, bring them over to the other, that type of stuff. So that's what goes on here with the whole map feature. And then next to that is an unscheduled task bar. So that can be helpful if it's a good problem to have if you're backlogged. You can set your schedule up ahead of time over here on the side, and then as your schedule opens up, it affords you the opportunity then to move these tasks into place. So just unscheduled tasks. And of course, you have the ability to create time frames. How do you want to look at your tasks, even down to like custom time frames there. And then the main part, I guess the star of the show, is the actual task itself. Here, if I hover over that, it'll show the details. But then if I drill into it, I get into descriptions, which the description can default off the job budget. So if you wanted to default your cost codes into tasks, you can certainly do that. Color code it, attach an icon, of course dates. If you need times, you can always attach time. Location, which will by default would pull the project's address. Resources, so this is where you're pulling employees, other contacts, maybe crew, maybe a schedule by crew. You can always create crews and schedule that way. Equipment, material items, that'll pull from inventory out of your Foundation database. And yeah, any employee here, they're going to receive, or they could receive, depending on the back end if you wanted this to happen, but usually most of our folks do. But they can receive an email or a text notification with all the details, the task, the job, dates, addresses. Even over to the right here is a place to fill out notes. That can all get pushed out to the employee as far as a notification. So all in all, a good way to keep track of what is going on with your project, schedule-wise, resource-wise, where you're at, where are people, where are equipment items. So that is the Crew HQ part of our platform. Kind of moving back into where we picked off here. Underneath the schedule is team. So going back to that big list of contacts that we looked at, this would be a smaller list pulled off that same big list of contacts, but these would just be people that you're dealing with on this project, on this job. You can assign project roles if you want to. That might just be helpful if you needed to. So just team members. And then underneath work management, this is where we start getting into different documents that we can create and send out. So first one is actually not a document to send out. It's an action item. So this is where you can send out a notification to somebody on your team, letting them know that, hey, heads up, this has to deal with that, or you want to follow up on this. These can be duplicated, because I know a lot of times companies will have the same initial list of action items to start a project. But yeah, here's where you always have your action item list. And then underneath that, just working from top down, AIAs, big feature. This came out, I think, 2 weeks to the day. So this is our newest feature here in the whole platform. So this is the first also of the areas that'll communicate back into Foundation here from HQ. So this, like it sounds, this is going to allow your project manager to create the AIA schedule values, create the applications, send those off to the owner, negotiate back and forth, and then push back into Foundation once it's agreed upon. So it does the exact same thing as what somebody's going to manually key into Foundation. They can just do it from the field, because usually, at least in our research, that's kind of what project managers are there to do. They're kind of usually the ones steering that ship. So this is broken down with a section for details, where you have more header information, signature fields, retainage rules, and then you have your schedule of values, which this can also copy from your job budget. And then flip it over to applications. Yeah, you can create the actual application. Slide this over there. You kind of get into retainage, stored material. Again, you can always print this out. But the whole idea is you can send this off to a customer to get the okay, get the approval, or it could come back here and you could always edit this and adjust percents or dollars. But eventually, once it's good to go, that's when this can actually sync into Foundation. And for those of you out there kind of watching this and are more on the accounting side of things, your heart rate might have picked up here. You might be starting to kind of worry about, well, what's going on here? I'd maybe not like that idea where it's just going to automatically push in. It's not the case, so don't worry too much. This is going to push this into Foundation and make it available, but somebody on the accounting end would still need to run a list and okay this. So that'll be the same for this, along with the other areas that do integrate back into Foundation. It's not like these are just going to automatically push into Foundation and post without somebody on the back end, on the accounting end in Foundation, reviewing those. So AIAs, big feature there. Daily logs, talked about that already, but just a way if you want to kind of keep track of what's going on with the project to date. This is also something that would, again, integrate with our mobile application. And then we get to documents, which I like to call these non-accounting related job documents. These are a lot of the same types of documents you might find in the old project management module. You've got RFIs and submittals, which we have called standard documents. And then there's also user-defined documents, which can literally be whatever you want them to be. These are just my examples in doing different demonstrations and webinars here over the last year and a half, 2 years or so. But whatever you would need to create to keep track of, whether it's to send out, whether it's internal, whether it's just to store an attachment or a picture, that's all can be done here. All of the documents, like if I go into an RFI, let me kind of walk through this so you can get a good idea what goes on here. So the initial screen is going to look like this. This is actually where you can change by document type too. But you can toggle by status. You can do a keyword search. Up here is where you can always run a list or a log. You can click on any of the headers to sort and filter. And if I jump into a document, kind of walk through that. So all documents are going to have at least these sections here. They're going to have a detail section where you're filling out all the main verbiage. This is what you can control from that setup area that we kind of walked down through the templates and whatnot. There's going to be correspondence where you can manually keep track of all the correspondence. And then there's attachments, drawings, attachments, pictures. Now, currently, we integrate over here. If you notice that logo, that's a Dropbox logo. But currently, HQ integrates with Dropbox, Google Docs, and OneDrive. That is not going to be for too much longer. Less than a month out, we are going to be rolling out what's called VaultHQ, which is our own in-house file storage system that we've developed. That'll start as of the end of this month with file storage, and then moving into the first quarter of next year, we're going to be adding the all-important ability to do markups to drawings. So I know that's a big thing for a lot of our customers out there. So currently you can use Dropbox, Google Docs, or OneDrive, or if you want to wait just a little bit longer, you can use our own file storage system here in HQ. And then lastly is Mailbox, which right from the details page under Actions, you can always email directly out of here. You can also create an action item or print as well. So those are common items that you're going to find really across the board for different documents here in HQ. And then last item in this section, punch list. So just like it sounds, this is where you can create a checklist, assign it out to a contact, and these can always be duplicated as well, because again, these are probably pretty similar job to job. So punch lists. And then next section down, we get into cost management. Cost management starts with the job budget, which is all the same exact information that you would see in Foundation, from cost codes to cost classes to budget amounts, quantities, unit of measure, bid, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all the same data there. And then underneath that is another big feature. This is change order management. This is actually pretty close to what goes on in that project management module as well. You typically start with a request for change that you would create, and then that can be converted over to an actual change order that would push into Foundation. I know I've got, 50 out there now. I'll tell you what, I'll walk through one here with you guys here on the screen so you can kind of see what goes on. Now, keep in mind, me moving through the different screens here, you can always create your own custom drop downs and requirements and the way that it looks, all that type of stuff. But owner document number, sure, we'll say 53, why not? Title, status, we'll say it's pending at this point. Scope, sure, in scope. Change reason, and not all these are required again. If you need to, you can. Schedule impact in days, date it was sent. When do we want to hear back? We'll say by Tuesday. Description, see, who is it going to? We'll send it to, sure, Bruno. Additional recipients, Craig. Scope of work, this is where we can actually break out what is being charged. So we'll say RFC change detail. If you need quantity, you can do that. Same thing with unit of measure. What's the cost? What's the markup? And then here is where you can allocate that across your budget. So this is all tied into Foundation. Same cost code, same cost classes. So I'll just kind of say earthwork and 2,000 for labor and 500 for equipment. Save that out. We'll say done. And if you have more line items or rows, you can always add those as well. Custom fields, if you want to attach any documents, I'll just go out and grab a couple of these, attach those there. So at this point, it would be done. We can save this out, email it out, send it, hear back that it's hopefully approved out there. And then once we do hear back, I guess we can always come back in and edit. And again, hopefully at that point, this will be marked as approved. I guess it could be rejected, but in our case here, we're gonna be happy and say it's approved. And then once it's approved as a request, back on this RFC screen, there's a convert button. That's where you can convert one request. Maybe you've got two that the owner signed off on and they want to roll them together. You can always do that too. But you can convert that over to an actual change order. See right now up here at the top, it's an actual change order that we can then save. And then on this side is where we can actually push that into Foundation so that it can update reports. And again, just like AIAs, nothing is going to automatically push in and affect reporting until accounting has a chance to kind of go through that process there. So Change order management, another big feature, one that pushes over from HQ into Foundation. And then underneath it, similar story, committed costs. These would be two items. We've got purchase orders and we've got subcontracts. This would also handle purchase order change orders, subcontract change orders, but this is the idea is you're actually creating the forms here. I'll just jump into one to kind of show you here. If I jump into a purchase order, but yeah, you have your details, you have your items. So this can pull from your inventory list. You can code out from a cost code, cost class standpoint. But yeah, these can push into Foundation as well. Update the PO submodule that you have there. Another big feature there. And then the last item on the toolbar here is collaboration. This is I always call this kind of a digital filing cabinet, kind of an one-place organization process here for files and emails. So files would be all the different attachments, drawings, pictures that have been saved to various places here on the project that you can pull up and retrieve or download. And then mailbox would be the same thing, but with all of the emails that have been sent or received, have the same ability to do like keyword searches here. Here you can always toggle by document type. That can be helpful. So that's everything here on within the project section of our HQ suite. Now the last big piece to kind of show you is actually it's called Executive HQ. This is the reporting. This is the job cost reporting. So this is what your PMs out in the field would have access to kind of keep track of their jobs out there. So from a reporting standpoint, let's see here. There we go. All right, so the way that this is put together is it starts with big picture information, I guess you can call it, where you've got the grand totals at the top of all of your jobs, and then it allows you to drill into more and more detail if needed. So we've got grand totals here. Down below, we've got just a nice percent complete over-under report for our projects. I can sort and filter this here, but the idea is if this isn't enough information, I can then always drill into a job, and then it can pull up just a nice colorful dashboard breaking down different types of information. Like up here at the top, it starts with just job, customer, project manager. Then underneath that, we get that same percent complete over-under line, and then we get a chart for a pie chart, I guess this would be, by cost class, bar chart by cost code. On the right is a pie chart for change order by status. Here's a cost code, or excuse me, change order cost versus income chart. And then in the big area here is just a nice variance report broken down by cost code. So we got cost code, number, description, estimated cost, actual cost, a variance. What do we have out there for original committed? What's been invoiced? What's remaining? And basically your remaining total cost for that line item. So that's kind of the whole reporting end of it. So I guess all in all, with the whole HQ suite is designed to allow your project management department, the operations department to keep track of their jobs, keep track of their correspondence, their different documents, job cost reporting information, schedule information, and then it does communicate back into Foundation when it pertains to the kind of the crossover onto that side. So AIAs, change orders, purchase orders, and subcontracts. So I do appreciate you guys kind of spending some time here checking out our HQ suite. I'll give you guys some time to take a look at the questions. There should be a little question button there on the side of the GoToWebinar area. I'd be happy to answer any type of questions you have. And again, if you have follow-up questions, or maybe you saw something here and you wanted to kind of reach out and touch base and cover something else, feel free to reach out. Let me pull up my information. There's my information, my phone number, email address, 1-800-246-0800, and email is dke@foundationsoft.com. Like I said, I'll kind of pause here for a moment, make sure you guys can get the information that you do need. And then a question here, how do we change databases with ProjectHQ? I guess, I know when you go to first log in to ProjectHQ, it'll pull up your list of companies that you have on it. There's a way to change it there. Hopefully that's what you mean. Sounds like you do have HQ though, if you're asking that type of question. Now, if you do, I know Ryan Shaplensky is kind of our lead guru on HQ, or probably support department would be able to give you a hand, but that should do it. Once you go to log in, it'll pull up what companies you have set up on HQ, and then you can go from there. And then here's a good question. Will the staffing tool, which is our CrewHQ, will CrewHQ allow assets to be double booked or remove an asset from availability once it's designated to a job? Let me show you that, kind of how that would work. Go into the schedule area. I go into site prep here, resources, and yeah, there we go. So if somebody ends up being double booked, you kind of get this schedule conflict that pulls up. Now, because some companies do this, where people will be in two places at one time. I know, sounds crazy, but it happens. So you can okay that, or you can say, oh, nope, we don't want to do that. Let's cancel that, cancel Michael, and start over type of thing. So yeah, it does warn you, but I guess you could always override it depending on different scenarios here. And then question, how does integration with Outlook work? So it's on the back end, basically we connect into your Outlook account and you're sending everything through here. It looks like it's coming right out of your actual email, because it is. If somebody responds back to it, it saves back to your home Outlook account. So you're not leaving HQ to do an email, you're just doing it right through here. It just saves a copy as if you were actually working out of your own Outlook account. And then a question, can invoices be approved by PMs through ProjectHQ? Nope, not currently. That is a big project though, and I know that's scheduled, well, it's not officially scheduled yet. I know we've got a couple meetings first, but it's on the roadmap for 2023. So not yet, but that's going to be a big addition. That's a common question that we do get about HQ. And this webinar will be available to everybody here now, along with anybody that's signed up. So as long as you've registered for the webinar, we will be sending out a copy of this too. And again, if you'd like to set up a time to kind of go through questions, or if you're interested in how the pricing works, I mentioned we do have a special going on now to the end of the year. Feel free to reach out with me. Reach out to me. I can always kind of go over the details on that with you. And then a question, is there a limit to access on the cost side of things? Not really. I guess from a cost standpoint, you can always eliminate detail costs. So if you don't want to let your team be able to drill down and see employee names, labor hours, labor dollars, you can do that. But it'll always show, at least in a summary form, estimated costs, actual costs. I guess if you didn't want them to have access at all to the executive HQ, the reporting side, you could do that. So if you did just want them to have access to the document management side and no job cost reporting, you could. And you can always limit what employee, if they can or can't see employee names, but they will see, at the very least, if they have access to executive HQ, they'll see dollars there. And then a question here is the scheduling with the Foundation, probably service dispatch. No, this will be completely different. So this is more along the lines for, I would hazard to say large scale jobs, not so much service. This isn't going to replace the service module or the service mobile app, nothing like that. This would be more for typically large scale jobs that you're going to be running through the HQ suite here. And the question here, when sending the request for the change, does the customer sign off on it through here? Not yet. So we do have another item that's on our roadmap for electronic signatures, but nothing currently. So right now they just have to reply via email, and then you'd come back into here to update it and go on from there. But yeah, digital signatures is on the list as well. And a question more on service and whatnot. There is offline mode, so you can work offline. You just can't submit, like you can't push an AIA from here into Foundation until you do have data or Wi-Fi. We've got some good questions there. Hopefully I answered them well. But yeah, if you have other questions, I'll hang on a few more minutes. And again, that's my information if you do think of something down the road there. And a question about notifications, specifically like when pay apps are due. So you can always create action items where somebody, basically you're assigning, hey, so-and-so, this is, you always put a due date on it, so you can kind of look at it that way. That's probably not as much as you're looking for. We do have a feature coming out called system-wide alerts that will provide pop-up alerts. So that'll basically take the action items to a further step, which that you would be able to do what you're describing there in your question. And then a good question here, does the ProjectHQ for scheduling, does it tie with our mobile app? No, it does not. So no communication there. That's another item probably for end of 2023. It's on the list, but we've got some other bigger items that we want to get accomplished before we link up our time app with the ProjectHQ side of it. And for the scheduling side, it's really just scheduling. So you can create your schedule, manage your schedule, assign resources, and then your employees get notification of where they're going and what they're doing. So that's kind of where it stops. Here's a good question. Is the ProjectHQ available separate from the HQ suite? Yes, if you do just need ProjectHQ for scheduling, you could just add that piece. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you've got questions on pricing or how that works. But yeah, we do try to incentivize, discount basically if you're adding the whole platform, with ProjectHQ. But if you didn't, I guess, if you did just need that, you could just add that. All right, I think everybody's all set. Again, feel free to reach out if you have questions on anything, whether it's functionality, pricing, want to set up a time to get together online and go through some different things. My number is 1-800-246-0800, extension 7181. Email is dke@foundationsoft.com. And I appreciate you guys spending some of your morning here with me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everybody. All right, bye-bye.